Boom, we're back. Oh, got to turn on my light. Got to turn off the other light. Oh, there we go. Look at our lighting. How do you like our lighting? How's that lighting? Hey everybody. It's me. I'm back again. Looks like we got a couple of people out there watching, which is great. I don't know if the there. I don't know. I don't know how much lag there is. It seems like there is a bunch of lag. What are you gonna do? But as you can see, I fixed my lighting a little bit. I fixed my microphone. Please check the video. Whatever. I have a real microphone now, so hopefully the sound is coming across a little better. I've moved my light, as I said, so now everything's a little brighter. And today's topic, yes, lighting is good, says someone. Says Jeff. Hopefully the sound is a little better. I know some people said some stuff about it being in the videos, being very quiet. Volume is low, so it's still low. Okay, well let me do a quick system preferences really quick. We're on my new microphone and I've cranked the volume up some, so hopefully that's better. Let's see. I'm still kind of, I guess I'm not peeking out, but I'm getting up into the yellow a little bit, so that's more positive. It is 10:01. It is Monday. It is some day in April. Maybe what day is it? The 27th? Did I have it wrong on my thing? Did I say the wrong date on my thing? I don't know. Oh well, what are you going to do? I'll fix that later. Funny Face. Funny Face is a product of Pillsbury. Pillsbury, which is that's better, good. Which is a company that mainly did baking stuff, did cake mixes, frostings, had the Pillsbury Doughboy, who was very popular for many years. And still is incredibly popular. But they wanted to get into the drink mix game to compete with Kool-Aid for whatever reason. And so 1964, late 64, and then mostly into 65, they put out a line of drink mixes. And they were the Funny Face drink mixes. And it was initially 6 characters. And they started in 65 or so, and then lasted till about 78. And then eventually they sold the line to another company, Brady, who still intermittently makes it. But Brady's actually done some licensing since then with it, and some products have continued to come out. And so Pillsbury, Funny Face still sort of has some things, still has some profile in the world. That's what I'm trying to say. But Funny Face also had sort of a rocky road, because the very first characters that they put out, let's see, good working on this lighting, Chinese Cherry. And so when this guy came out, I guess there was some issues of it being racist, which it is very racist, and it is problematic. I've never been able to find any kind of article or any real explanation from Pillsbury's standpoint as to what happened. If there was some sort of actual protest and, letter writing or whatever, or if they got contacted by someone, but the other character that they had problems with was Agent Orange. So these are 2 of the very first packs. Don't add sugar. And then they also had another huge problem, which was these had cyclamates in them, which are an artificial sweetener. And turns out that there was a study done, and they found that the cyclamates caused cancer in rats. So basically, they come out with this product. They have this sort of racial problem, racism problem, if you want to call it that, and have to change the characters. And then a couple years later, they have a cancer problem and have to reformulate the product. And that was the sort of key to this product, was that you didn't add sugar. So just in this little thin pack, you had everything you needed, as opposed to Kool-Aid, which you had to add, you'd have the pack and then you'd have to add 2 cups of sugar. And certainly nowadays, with all the sweeteners we have, the same exact sort of thing occurs where, you know, a much smaller amount of mix can make your drink. Pillsbury was in Minneapolis, and these first packs are just so reductively beautiful. You know, I mean, it's just like let's get design down to the absolute minimum that we need to have. And of course, these packs are incredibly sought after. And when I started collecting, these were, you know, the two highest things that I wanted. They were the highest on my want list. And luckily, I was able to get two really nice packs. And the thing about these things is they get saved in drawers, you know, so they do appear. Now the two next rares packs are the raspberry and the strawberry. As you can see, I got a really nice strawberry, and as you can see, this is the only raspberry I've ever seen for sale, and it's in terrible condition. And sometimes, as a collector, you have to just take what you can get. So you know this thing has been drenched in water, but still, I'll take it because you don't know when another one's going to come around. And that strawberry also incredibly hard to find. And then we get to the last two of the original 6 flavors. And we've got the grape and the loudmouth lime. Loudmouth lime's always sort of been probably my favorite of the packs. You know, he's always been sort of my favorite characters because I like green characters, and I don't know, he's just really just that green and the blue mouth. He's really, really cute and really early. And one of the things that's really hard to see, maybe we can get, if we get really close with the Goofy Grape, you can see he has two little lines right above his eyes. Little, I don't know if they denote character or if they're sort of giving, you know, make him look even a little crazier. Let's all hit that. I don't know what that means. What is someone saying? Let's all hit that. I don't know what that means. So you can tell if something is really early in Goofy Grape because he still has those two little lines, and those little lines were gone pretty quick. It's basically just the first year. So after these very first white packs, we get the colored packs. So they're already kind of up in their game, and they also have gotten rid of that sort of, you know, typeset 10 cents, and they've added a drawn 10 cents. And they've added some more information on the packs. Packs are remaining pretty much the same. We still have the cyclamates, the Sweet 10. But these are more like the 1966 packs. And that's the thing that we find with Funny Face is that they just keep changing the packs. They just keep updating them. And so, boom, here we have... So actually, these probably would have been maybe late 65. I have to check my numbers because they would have, you know, transitioned from, you know, the Chinese cherry to the choo choo cherry. And you know, look, the characters have gotten a little bigger. Just because we have a little, you know, they just they've got a little more room. You know, we've transitioned from having I'm just terrible at this camera. Green hat to black hat, which gives him a little more weight to him. Let's see what else we got going on here. Strawberry, pretty much the same. Not much updating on him. You know, this is what I live for. You know, look at this, green on green. That's just so pretty. So pretty to me. And then we've got Lefty Lemon. So we've added a 7th character. We have a lime and we have a lemon. And we'll see in the next iteration, which, did I show the Jolly Ollie Orange? Oh, there's the Jolly Ollie Orange to, let's complement him to the, let's Let's compare him to the Engine Orange. So we've just Engine Orange is gone, and we'll see that they made a few premiums with the with Engine Orange. Not a lot. Um, so there's if you're collecting Engine Orange, you don't have a lot of stuff to look for. So that was that iteration, and now we go into like 1967, and we've got a lot of these packs. Back in the olden days, I used to be a completist, and what you'll find is that with these kind of packs, they did all sorts of things. They put these little riddles on the back, and I think each pack had 8 different riddles. So at a certain point in my life, I was trying to find every single riddle. So you'd have to so this pack, I might have to have 8 of them. In addition to the having other offers and things like that. So collecting Funny Face from a completist standpoint is you could spend your whole life doing it. So, this is sort of the next. Well, here we go. Here we go into the. So this is our transition once again. So we had the cyclamate problem. So boom, we go from pre-sweetened without sugar to no cyclamates, just add sugar. Yeah, we've completely switched it up. We've kept the same characters, but man, these are different packs. Funny Face up front and top. Jolly Ollie Orange is there. We've lessened the thing, and we've added them drinking out of the glass. And I think pretty much for the rest of the Funny Face run, we will always have them drinking out of the glass. So I'm sure they wanted to really differentiate the way that they looked from the earlier packs with these newer packs. Let's see. We got the Goofy Grape and the Choo Choo Cherry. And as you can see, the Choo Choo Cherry one's a little earlier than the cyclamate one. So look at this, it was 10 cents. So they kept with that 10 cents price, and they probably realized that they had to dump that 10 cent price and go to a 5 cent price because people were having to go and buy sugar. So, and I wouldn't be surprised if they either were trying to undercut Kool-Aid or they were, trying to match Kool-Aid. Because they went to this 5 cents, and I'm sure the 5 cents, they were trying to be a little more appealing with that. Some other unusual packs are these Union 76 packs, where you'd go to and get a certain amount of gas, and they'd give you this pack. And these ones are kind of classic because they have the mug offer on the back. And as you can see, we're already up to 6 mugs. They started with 4, and so that means these are from 1970. So that's the trick of dating and understanding all this stuff is back in the day I'd try and find the newspaper ads which actually had specific dates. So if you see something in a newspaper ad, you're like, oh, there we go. That's exactly when that was happening, as opposed to a lot of these things where it's just like there's no information on here. So you're really flying blind trying to figure out exactly when some of this stuff came out. Oh, these guys, really nice. Rootin' Tootin' Raspberry, Freckle Face Strawberry. And, most of these flavors lasted forever. Like Rootin' Tootin' from beginning to the end. So most of the primary characters ran the whole way. Then they would throw in these weird characters, which we'll get into, which are some of the most fun packs to collect because of how strange they are. Oh, here we go. Here we have one of the first sort of edition characters, Captain Black Cherry. Always one of my favorite designs. As we can see on this Lefty Lemon, there's the price, 6 cents. So, this pack, the Lefty Lemon's probably a year after the 5 cent, where they've dumped that, putting the price right on there, and now they start to regulate the price. So they probably typically sold for 6, 7, 8 cents. I don't know if the store would determine that, or if Pillsbury would. Probably, maybe the store would. I don't know. So here we have another interesting transition. This one is the very first Loudmouth Punch. So I guess Lefty Lemon was probably outselling the lime, so they just dumped lime, and then they painted in purple, or pink purple, mauve, whatever that color is, and they made punch. And so punch is basically the same shape as a lime. And then of course that only lasted for a little while. So this is like the first this is a needs no sugar. So this is the last of the cyclamates packs. And so here we go into the no cyclamates. So we go from cyclamates to no cyclamates. Boom, we've turned him up and we've given him that little tiny weird hat, which is I don't even know what to call that hat. I'm not going to comment. But I love, I always love when you find the kind of weird reductive package, the package that shows the transition and it shows where the designers were making sort of one decision, and you could, you're able to see by looking at later things what's going on. So let's see, where are we at? We did Jolly Ollie Orange. Boom, we got into all those. So that's the end of Punch. Then we got some weird things that happened. We have these guys, the Tart and Tangies. Now, Tart and Tangy was this sort of secondary line of Pillsbury products. I mean, these guys were still Funny Face, but they were trying to sell these to adults. And so, let me dig into my bin down here. So they came up with these other characters at one point, which were the Thirst Fighters. So the Thirst Fighters were supposed to be more formulated for adults. Even though they probably stocked them on the same shelves right next to Funny Face, they were in some way supposed to appeal to adults. So when this line sort of fell apart, they came up with this other line, which was the Tart and Tangy Funny Face. Was it because they had a lot of mix left over? I don't know. But I mean, once again, these guys are just like, it looked, considering like how much design goes into the other things, these things look like they were knocked out in an afternoon. It's just this really simple line art with the mouth and everything. They're pretty strange. And we'll see. The orange, really short-lived. The lemon actually makes it into some of the later, not later, but the concurrent packs where they were filled with sugar. So, I mean, that's one of the other complex things about Funny Face is that they didn't... Let me pull out one of these. We'll get back to this. We'll get back to this bag later. Oh man, this show's gonna last forever. Okay, so we have the big packs. So so this one's needs no sugar. This one's sugar sweetened. So when they completely got rid of cyclamates, they also started making these big packs, which would have had the sugar in them. So little pack, add sugar. Big pack, just dump it right in. Makes 2 quarts, boom. And so amazingly, Tart Little Imitation Lemonade, he survived. Maybe because it was a lemonade thing and lemon flavor is different than lemonade, lemon lime. I don't know. Of course, it would be nice if someone out there was 90 years old and drank all these and was like, oh, this one was specifically exactly like this. I've never met that guy. So these big fat packs, would have been had all the sugar right in there and would just be ready to go. Bam, it goes in. And these are what I really remember from being a kid. Not this early ones, but these big packs. Those were what I bought as a kid. We wouldn't want to do all that mixing. So back to these guys, the Thirst Fighters. We'll cover them. We'll talk about them for a little more. They were made on each one was a kind of a World War II fighter pilot. And as you see, these also went through a transition. This says Tart and Tangy. These say Tart and Tangy up the top. I don't know which ones were first, but who knows. And once again, these are sugar-free. Let's see, ready to mix, just add water. Yeah. So, I don't know. But once again, it's sort of that more simple line art. I mean, who knows? Maybe they had one company doing the design on those ones and a different company, or maybe they just wanted the weird line art to sort of make them more adult, make them less cartoony, even though they are cartoons. I don't know. But we see the characters on the back. Very much fun. Very much fun. Oh, look at all this goodness. Oh, packs. Oh, it's going to be a big mess. I knew this was going to be a big mess, and it has become a big mess. We already talked about those, so we'll skip on those. Put those over there. And now we have these guys, which are... I was thinking of these as the 1972 packs. And these are the last of the small packs. After, like, about 1973, Funny Face in 1974 went to all of the fat packs. So, no more of these little packs doing competition, which I'm sure Kool-Aid was happy about, because Kool-Aid has always been that sort of small packs. I mean, they did the bigger packs, but their business was the small packs. So these designs, we haven't moved in a big direction here. They've gotten a little smaller. You can see just they're a little bit shorter, a little bit thinner. I don't know if the weight, 0.16 ounce versus 0.19 ounce. Same old classic characters, strawberry and lefty lemon lime. Also, that's the other thing about Lefty Lemon. He was Lefty Lemon, and then they changed him to Lefty Lemon Lime. Let me look at this. I'm looking here. Ken says, that's Ken Thompson, I miss my Funny Face collection. Oh, we all miss our Funny Face collections. My best piece was a full pack of the Chinese cherry. Yeah. I think there might be a full... I think somebody sold an Engine Orange or a Chinese cherry recently on eBay, and it went for I think it went for like $500 or more. Maybe it went for $1,000. I don't know. But that's, those packs. I think back when I bought mine, they were like $400 and $500 each. And is that absurd? Yeah, of course it's absurd. But I've never had an extra one. I never picked up another one for $100. If I ever had an extra one, it would have been that same sort of crazy price. Loudmouth Punch still doing good with his hat. Choo Choo Cherry doing fine. I think Choo Choo Cherry is my favorite as a kid. And once again, we're still with all of these riddles on the back. So there's like a first series of riddles. Then this I think is the second series of riddles. So you're talking just an endless amount of packs to collect if you want to have them all. Here we have Choo Choo Cherry. Little nice 5-cent grocery sticker on there. It's funny because normally you wouldn't want to have, a sticker on the front. But when you have a bunch of them, it's kind of neat to have ones that you can actually sort of see where they come from. And I haven't even started kind of going into where all these came from. There have been a number of Funny Face finds through the years. There's a guy right out in Pasadena that found a bunch of these little 72s, and he had he had hundreds and hundreds. And I bought as many as I could, and he was selling them in Toy Shop and at the antique mall. And I think he just, a lot of times what people would do is they'd see, probably when they were closing out, probably someone loved drinking it. So they filled up a bin in their house, and then drank them for a year or two, and then just stopped drinking them. And then there they sat until some collector finds them, Well, he probably found them probably in the mid-90s, so, like 20 years later or something. Did we do Root and Raspberry? Yeah, I think we did. Let's see, what else we got in here? And, of course, going through this, I find that all I have are kind of messed up Captain Black cherries and Jolly Holly oranges. And I'm pretty sure I had nice ones at some point, but I probably, in some foolish mistake, sold them, not real, thinking I had more duplicates somewhere else, and then didn't realize that I did not. And there's just, the riddles are super fun. Look at this. Goofy Grape's bed. Because I couldn't catch a turtle. He's going to put a turtle in Goofy Grape's bed. Why? I don't know. And this is like the only goofy grape I have. As you can see, this one, it's got it all. The person saved it, but, it's torn open. And then we have, in the 72s, we have a new character, Chili Cherry Cola. So as you can imagine, Chili Cherry Cola, not long for this world. Now we're going to look at some of the concurrent, the fat packs. So the fat packs come in three main variations. They come in the Wiggle Cup, which is an actual, drawing of, Wiggle Glass, which is what I call them, just because they have a drawing of the glass. Then the next one is the All Sugar, where we've gotten the photo of the glass. And then the last one are these big ones. And the big ones are they're a little bit bigger. And the other odd thing about Funny Face packs, when you look at all these packs, is they're all different sizes. Like the Choo Choo Cherry might be a little smaller than the grape, and there's just like endless variations. And of course we got the riddles on the back of some of these, plus we've got offers. And the offers really went crazy in 74 on the back of the packs. Couple of Choo Choo Cherries. You could order your own folding bike. How much was it? $25. Save on the great Funny Face wheel deal. Get this 20-inch bike. Look at this. Look at the crazy. Look at that crazy illustration. Oh, see how close can we get that? Put in my trunk. And look, his hat seems to be a little different color on there, because you never know. They probably, on some of this process, they only had certain amounts of colors available. Because look at that. Look in this one. See, and like this one, all it has is this little paper thin scrap of this pack. Look at his hat. It had blue spots for a little while. Maybe on this one they didn't even have a yellow pass. Strange. And of course on the backs, here we have the Funny Face Science Place, where it's like weird science things you could do. And then these ones are pretty interesting. This is from like a master proof roll. So you can see, here we have it. This is how they would have just come off. There would have been a big roll, and it would have just spooled this off. So it had printed onto the roll, however the heck that works. And then it would just spool these off, and then, I'm not sure, it probably would have some way of sealing the two sides. Then it probably popped it open, squirted it in there, and then sealed the tops. But at some point, someone contacted me, and they had a gigantic roll of Funny Face packs. I tried to buy the roll. They did not sell me the roll. So all I got was, I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 or 20 bits. But as you can see, the roll got wet at some point, at certain areas, so it would stick together, and you could see there's, this is the surface printing on some of the packs. And then this neat foil. But it's like, that's, with collecting, you're always running across all these different little, look how much bigger he is on this one. Boom, he's much bigger. Once again, the designer does it the first time, and then they're like, real estate, why are we wasting real estate on something that's not very interesting? Funny Face pillows, which we could talk a lot about Funny Face pillows, because they did quite a number of different ones of those. Raspberry. Funny Face Science Place. Then we get the Tart Little Imitation Lemonade, which we talked a little bit about, but here we see the sort of earlier one, and we see the later one. As you can see, they slightly changed the tone of his hat. I really like this one because you can really see the drawn in ice. And once again, it's an interesting variation because you're always sort of, I as a collector, you always look for that really interesting oddball piece. And I'm sure the first time I found one of those Wiggle Glass ones, I was just like, oh my God, what's going on with this? last one of this. So these fat packs would have all been in maybe, yeah, like 70, maybe they went back to 69, mostly 70 to 72. And the big packs got an additional character, Rara root beer drink mix. Who knows? But man, that art is amazing. You know, this one you can tell they put the time and thought and energy into him. This is a fantastic pack. Love it. So, 1974 rolls around, and for whatever reason, Pillsbury decides, let's start over again. Keep the characters, but let's do a complete redesign of the whole thing. And you know, I'm sure that what it was they probably were like, okay, let's get rid of the little packs, focus on the big packs. We're gonna do all these promotions. We're gonna really try to knock it out of the park and establish this brand once and for all. Let's see. Oh wait, hold on, we got a little thing in here. Jim Rash says those earlier big packs were from 70 to 73. Jim Rash, if you don't know him, is another big collector of Funny Face. His collection, probably larger than mine. Not probably, is larger than mine. Jim loves Funny Face as much as I do, and Jim's a great guy, and he's done a lot of history. And if you go on the internet, and you can look for stuff, and he has a lot of his collection photos pictured, and he's got amazing things, and has helped bring to light a lot of the things. So here's the redesign, and you know, wow. Let's see if I can find another Goofy Great pack. I cannot. Wait. No. Oh, this is a terrible. Oh wait, let's get a non-terrible example. Goofy Grape has changed. He now has, as you can see, there's like shading on there. You know, the teeth have shading. The eyes are actually like real googly eyes. The hat is three-dimensional. It's a whole new world for Goofy Grape, and they did this to all the characters. Whoops, let's not destroy this. Let's get some. I have a lot of those. Let's see. And then, you know, Rootin' Tootin' Raspberry's hat is not just black. It is shaded with blue to give it dimension. He has dimension all over. And these are the packs of my childhood. And it's funny, like some of the first packs I ever found were some of the small packs, and I was just like, what is going on? These are not the packs of my childhood. And of course, I've grown to love the little packs. But these big packs are still just wonderful. And here we have the Funny Face Fan Club kit, which you could mail away for. And they did that they did it 3 times, but the two of the two big ones, and then one earlier smaller one. Oops, what am I doing? I'm all mixed up. I can pull these back because they're not as tiny. Choo Choo Cherry. As you can see, I think all of these in my collection are empty. I've only ever found a few full ones. And so I just never really got into the full ones. Pillows in the picture. All collectors out there will find out at some point there's 2 different pictures, plus the one picture they made in an unpainted version. Loudmouth Punch still rocking that crazy hat. Freckleface Strawberry just still doing his thing. Little kite offer. Somebody at some time found tons and tons of those kites, so they're pretty cheap for a while. They're probably still pretty cheap. Let's see. Jolly Ollie Orange, Lefty Lemon Aid. So he has reached his final zenith of his transitions. He's gone from Lefty Lemon to Lefty Lemon Lime to Lefty Lemon Aid. So he has finally conquered all the other lemons, and he is the number 1 lemon for all time. And all those other imposters are done with. Basketball, Wear a Grape. I think I've seen that great sweatshirt for sale maybe one time. So those are all the basics. we'll look at a few more of the backs in a minute. But now we get to the Weirdos, and of course, you know, the Weirdos are always my favorites, and they were when I was a kid too. Boom, Raw Raw Root Beer is back. Let me go a little higher. Redesigned, and we have Pistol Pink Lemonade, who's a Southern cowboy gentleman of some sort. And it's kind of fun with the ones where they actually got to make new characters. They really gave them a new personality. You know, the Funny Face characters were still sort of coming out of 1965, and so by this point, it's you know, the world's almost 10 years later. So the design on Pistol Pink is much more contemporary. It's much more a 1974 design as opposed to a 1965 design. And I you know, Raw Raw Root Beer is sort of, you can see in him, well, actually, he's not even, yeah, I guess he is. He's still sort of constrained by those old things. Pistol Pink, they knew they had access to whatever they wanted. You know, it's full color printing. You can do like line art of any sort. You know, I mean, if you look at him, that his line is not just a straight line. It's a little tiny bumpy line. And it's like these are almost a little bit inspired by Underground Comics. I've always wondered if somebody in Underground Comics had something to do with these, because they just have a real underground sort of feeling to them. Really an interesting I don't know what I'm saying. And here we have the guy, the man, the myth, with it watermelon. And this is both his packs. So the one pack was probably 74 and the other pack was probably 76. The new flavor is probably the first one. This one's probably a little later. And you know, look at what we're saying up here. Artificially flavored watermelon soft drink mix contains no watermelon juice. You know, so undoubtedly somebody got bent out of shape and was like, how many watermelons are you making that thing? And it's like, oh, come on, people. Just let them make the crazy stuff. Nothing special. And at this point, actually, now that I think about it, it's all offers on the back. Every back is an offer. We're like, no more of these riddles, no more of that junk. We're trying to get every kid into the grocery store, buying as many of these packs and sending away for stuff. But, you know, with it, watermelon, is he Elvis or is he a hipster or what is he? I don't know. All I know is I love him. And we get to the last two sort of unusual packs. Rudy Tutti Frutti, who's like kind of a punch adjacent. And Captain Black Cherry. Amazingly, I think this might be the only one of these big Captain Black Cherries I've ever found. And I mean, certainly with like the Rudy Tutti Frutti and the With It watermelons and the Pistol Pinks. I think I had an extra full watermelon one time, which I think I sold to Jim Rash or someone. And that's it. You know, that's it. So much of this stuff, and I've dealt about as much of this stuff as anybody on the planet, is one and done. Well, it's 10:38, and I have been blathering and blathering and blathering. And so, I mean, that's the thing. You know, we could also keep going and dig deeper and deeper and deeper into all this stuff. Mugs. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? This is like a 1974 pack, but it only has the 6 mugs. It doesn't have the 8 mugs. I don't know. Fan club, you know, and as you can see, I still have way too many of these, because whenever I could buy them, I'd buy all that I could find, and I've sold tons of them, but like, you know, I still have this many grapes. So that's Funny Face packs. Yeah, we could keep going and dig deeper into some other things. But I mean, maybe we'll do this stuff another day. I was going to go into the premiums, because I've got some of the premiums piled up over here. But I think we'll do that another day. I think 10:39. We've crept through a lot. Let's see. We don't want these things to be like 2.5 hours long. Let's see. Jim Rash also says Carol H. Williams took over the account for Leo Burnett in '72, oversaw the creation of the new characters in '74. Excellent. It was definitely a Chicago-based underground artist who drew these. It wasn't Jay Lynch, so it was someone in the underground that drew these guys. That's funny. Jim and I have never talked about that, but I've always sort of had a sneaking suspicion, because they have a look, and that's what makes them so great, is that they let an artist get his hands on these things, and the person who worked on some of the original characters is a guy named Hal Silverman, and he also did this incredible How the Funny Face characters got their names book, which, I mean, this book is just, it's stunning. It's just like, it's like a Funny Face pack come to life, and we're gonna dig deeper into that. Maybe we'll do another one. We'll do Funny Face part 2 on next Monday, and maybe and then another day we're going to talk about Drink Aid and some of the other packs. I don't have tons and tons of other packs, but I do have other packs, and there's just an endless amount of stuff for me to blab on about. But as you can see, there's that's the material we sort of gave a look at today. It's a lot of stuff. It is a lot of stuff. I want to thank everybody for coming by, and I'm playing the. It's like our theme song. I hope you enjoyed yourselves, and we'll be back next week. And I'll be probably posting some other interesting and obscure videos along the way. Let's see. I got to push a bunch of buttons.